This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. My name is Jonathan Hawley. I'm with Educational Message Services and PreventionPays. And we are going to go over the user interface. We're going to see what a live request for help looks like. And then we're also going to see what sending messages to a caller or multiple callers at one time looks like. And then we'll have a look at what you can do in addition to the actual conversation itself. So we'll look at what that looks like. And then at the end of the session, we'll have questions. Okay. So what we're looking at here, guys, is the 211 folder. So this shows you everything that you need to know about the application, how to get started, all of the important things, including the startup guide. So if you go to guides and startup, you'll see what the startup guide looks like. It's right here. And it takes you through everything that we are going to go over today and then some. So it walks you through logging in, where to go. Now this is the website about the service. This is the production website where you got to do your work. So you can literally take this document and go through the first few pages and be able to log in and then be able to access the queue and respond to text and do everything you need to do with the application just by following this step-by-step guide. Now, 898-211 is the number that people are texting. And when they text in for INR, for live help, they're going to text their zip code to 898-211. So that's the model, and that's what people text. And then when they text their zip code to 898-211, and it's a zip code in your service area, well, we, of course, route them to you and your queue. And we'll look at the queue in just a moment, what that looks like, what your website looks like, and show you, what happens when somebody texts their zip code and it's in your service area. Now, if they text a zip code that's not in your service area, they may go to that 211. Or if they text from a non-supported zip code, which is very rare these days, but there are a few, they get that 211 texting is not supported in your area. Please text another zip code or call 211. So everybody is anyone and anywhere in the United States can text 898-211, and they're going to get a response, and they're going to get some form of assistance. Now, when you guys go live, what's going to happen is we're going to swap out all of your temporary opt-in messages, which you have now, like when somebody texts a zip code in your service area. We route it to your queue, and we tell them that live help is coming soon, but it's not available right now. In the meantime, you can visit this website to browse resources or call 211. So we push them to your website, and we also tell them that they should call you. Now, additionally, in this guide, you'll also see things like the opt-in and language like that. What is the opt-in? The opt-in is just the word for when somebody texts you. So that's just the text jargon. And the opt-in happens when somebody texts their zip code or a keyword that is for a program to 898-211. And then we know what to do. We send back a message to them. It's all automated, part of the system. And the opt-in is complete. And you provide live assistance or if you're not ready yet, they get the bounce back message that tells you that you're not ready yet. And then if the opt-out is the other end of the spectrum. The opt-out is when somebody decides they don't want to get text from you anymore. So maybe they've already opted in, they've gotten some text from you, and then they don't want to get any more text from you. And so kind of like the same way somebody has the right to hang up the phone during a conversation, which is rude, but people do it, so too do people have the right to opt out of texting. I don't want to get any more texts. Please don't send me more. So sending stop, quit, or unsubscribe to 898-211 will do exactly that. We'll opt them out. You'll still have a record of their case in your queue. It's just that they're no longer in opt-in status and they can no longer be texted. You don't have a text box for them. So, and that's end user privacy, right? That's the guarantee that everybody has the right to be texted by you, but also has the right to cancel that or unsubscribe from that text. Then you'll also see in this information about being able to opt in a client. So in the user interface, you've got a sub-tab called the fully opt-in. And that sub-tab lets you put clients into the software. So you can convert a caller to a text conversation. Maybe you're not understanding them. Maybe they're not understanding you. Maybe just the call isn't working out well. So alternatively, let's have a text conversation. So you can go to the sub-tab fully opt-in and put their mobile number into the software and begin a text conversation. We'll see what that looks like as well. Okay, there's also some helping documents in the 211 folder. Things like the canned phrases. There's a bunch of sample content. Canned phrases are important because they help you with your conversations tremendously. They're automated messages that you can send during your conversations. So as you can imagine, if your canned phrases are good, then your conversations will flow more rapidly and it's less typing. Now, canned phrases can be as many as you need, no limit. They can be grouped. They can be seasonal. You can have canned phrases that you turn off during certain times of the year, turn off during all the other times of the year because they're not relevant for all the other times. You can have canned phrases that are personal. These are the ones I like to use with my conversations versus these are the general pop or general use canned phrases. So plenty of support and capacity with regard to canned phrases. And again, you'll see what that looks like in the user interface when we do a test. So to log in, you're just going to enter your email address, your password. Your email address came to you, and the password came to you in an email from admin@sms.astrobrook.com. If you didn't get that email yet, you will be getting it today. And if you don't get it today, then please reach out to an administrator at your site or reach out to myself, support@PreventionPaysTech.com, and somebody will help you resend that invitation. We want you to activate it because we're validating your email at that same time. And we're validating your profile. So when you activate that link or click that link, and you're activating your profile. And then it takes you, once you click that link in that email, it takes you right to the login page. And then you enter your email address, the password that's in that email, and you click sign in. And then you come to the last page you're reviewing. In this case, I'm looking at the New York 211 Susquehanna River region. And I can zoom in a little bit so we can see this a little better. And then the queue is this right here. And the queue shows you new texts, unanswered texts, or texts that have opted in requesting service. I'm on the top one in the queue, the 646. you can learn a lot just by looking at the queue, right? You can see the phone number, the opt-in keyword or the zip code that was used. This is the last incoming or the most recent incomings. It shows the top 5. And then over here is the county. And then these buttons here are your action buttons. And the number's clickable, of course. And if I click this number, I'm going to see everything related to that number other than the 646. So when I click on the 607, now I'm looking at the conversation related to 607 and all of the characteristics that are tied to that number. And I can move this around, this attributes, and I can close certain segments of it or open segments of it. You see everything from name down. You don't see this stuff up here. This is my stuff that I see about background behind phone number. You see name and all the way down here. You, of course, see notes and data markers and surveys and series. So let's do an opt-in. I'm going to text in, and I'm going to use a zip code. I'll just use the zip code that's at the top there, 12406. And all I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to text in. I'm pulling open my texting application, and I'm selecting 898211. Now, if you've never texted with 898211 before, you would enter 898211 in the person you're sending the text to. Very simple. And then I'm sorry, the person who's sending the text would enter 898211 in the address part. So rather than putting in a 10-digit number, you're putting in a 6-digit number. And those numbers, by the way, are referred to as short codes. And they're used by all kinds of agencies, for-profits, nonprofits, government agencies, and the 5 or 6-digit short codes enable us to do all the things we talked about, being able to automate the opt-in, opt-out, being able to guarantee coverage across all carriers, and being able to provide the kind of volume that is entailed with 211 and all of the texting that's happening with 211. So I'm going to use a zip code, 12406, and I'm going to send that zip code to 898211. So I just did that. And then we'll see how that appears in the queue. So lo and behold, there it is. And what it does is, if you've got your audio alert turned on, you hear a little ding. If you have your notifications turned on, and by the way, these two audios, this controls the queue for the dinging noise, and then this controls the messages when you're having a conversation with a client. So you'll hear a different sound as you communicate and you receive an incoming text from the one you're texting with. Okay. And then when we click on this phone number, okay, so I'm getting an additional question. So we say, hi, thank you for texting 211. Live help by text is coming soon. What is your county? So 12406 is a split zip code across 2 counties. So I'll go, mine is Ulster. You guys serve Ulster?
No, we don't. We serve Delaware.
Delaware. Okay, then I'll do Delaware. Okay, so then I get the opt-in message that says, for immediate assistance, call 211 or visit our website. And then that's that website that we talked about that's going to take them to you guys and enable them to search for resources. And over here on the right is all of the characteristics that are tied to my phone number. So we've got the conversation happening right down the middle of the page. And then we've got the characteristics in the inspector, this window on the right-hand side. We refer to it as the inspector. All it is just the display of the characteristics related to the phone number that I'm working in. And then down here, data markers, we're auto-populating those. So when we get that zip code, in goes the zip code into their data markers. And then when we obtain their county, in goes their county. And you'll understand why we data mark. Data mark is so that you can reach back to clients beyond the zip code that they text, so that you can provide help to them based on their county, or you can provide help to them based on the problem need that you've identified. So if you're working with veterans maybe differently than how you work with your other population, if you were to identify this client as a veteran, then you could group that population of individuals and have them get text that would be maybe, in addition to the live help they got, something more, right? Here's some resources for you, or here's a program that we want you to know about. This comes in handy if you do support during tax season, data marking people as they request support for taxes, so that you can provide them with news about tax season next year, or maybe some assistance about financial literacy or some tangential things related to the live help that you provide. So data marking becomes a really critical component of the service, so that you can provide support to individuals in different ways beyond just the live help that they get. Now down here at the bottom is the survey in series. So this is where you can assign a survey to a client. That survey can be a opt-in, so something, or part of the opt-in, something that's qualifying them for a service. So, or it can be a survey that happens during the conversation. So we identify that you are interested in getting resources for food banks, but we have to ask a battery of questions in order to release those referrals. So rather than handwriting all of those texts, you assign a little automated survey that goes through those 5 questions, and you can go help somebody else while the client responds to those 5 questions. At the end of an encounter, a survey might be assigned based on closing the case. Hey, you just texted with us. How did you rate it? 1 to 5. 1 being great, 1 being not very helpful, 5 being the best help ever. Right? That kind of Likert or multiple choice or some sort of follow-up survey that gauges their experience. You could have a follow-up survey that gets delayed and doesn't go out for a week, that asks them questions about the referral, whether or not they followed up with any of the referrals you gave them. Surveys can be hand-assigned. Quality assurance, sample message, and then I can just select it and delay it or not. If I don't delay it, it starts instantly. This live survey feature, this is if you are working with the client and you see that they're trying to answer the survey, but they're not answering it the way we need them to answer it. Then if it's a live survey option, you can select it and then respond in the way that you see that they're trying to respond. So it's kind of cool. You can assist them along so that they don't struggle with that survey, because you'll see how surveys work is if you send a response back that isn't known, that we don't understand, then we're going to send the question again. And then they have to either answer it appropriately, or if they answer it wrong again, then they'll get that question again. So they could get locked in a survey, and that locked period of time lasts up to 24 hours. So being able to cancel a survey that they're in or complete it on their behalf is really helpful if somebody's just struggling with answering that survey. And if I assign a survey, I can go, 5-minute delay and then assign it. Now this survey, if it goes out, it's not going to go out until 5 minutes from now. Or if I don't want it to go out, I can cancel and just ask you if you're sure you want to cancel. So it's super easy to abort a survey that is in the middle, or at any point during that survey you can abort it on the client's behalf. And then how do I answer help? So how do I have a conversation with this client? Well, I can assign myself or assign it to somebody, or I can open it. Open here or here. If I open it from the queue, then what changes is we now have a responder assigned to this case. We've let other staff who are logged in know that I took this case. It's a different audio alert that they hear, you don't, letting them know that this case was taken. And so if you're working on the phones, then I don't have to worry about that because I just heard the ding that lets me know that the case was taken. So you'll get the hang of listening for the sounds, right? Those sound cues. There's one sound for a new incoming text, and then another sound for that text being answered. And then to provide live support to this client, I can use the canned phrases. So I might use an introduction phrase. Hi, thank you for contacting 211. How can I help you today? Or, in order to best help you, could you please tell me which agency, program, or resource I can help you find? That's another option, right? These are all edited and managed by you guys, so in no way is this the final canned phrases. This is just options that we put up for you to have a look at. But of course, you guys are going to fill in the details and make all of your decisions about your canned phrases. When I'm ready to send a message, I just click send. And then we'll see as that goes out to the client. It's grayed out momentarily as it's being delivered. As the carrier is receiving it and then delivering it, it's grayed out. And then as soon as we get a delivery verification from the carrier, it will update and let me know that that was actually delivered to the client. Okay, and so now we're in progress with this client, and texting back my need. Okay. So that'll come into the queue, and then we know that this individual is seeking help with food. So now we know their zip code, their county, and their need. So we might have a couple more questions that we go back and forth with, and then when we make the decision, we're going to send content to them, send the referrals to them. There's two options to do that. There's the integrated option, which is in your CRM, selecting the referral and sending it through your CRM to the mobile number that you put into your CRM. So whatever your CRM is, you should be able to select text as an option to send. And you've probably been building a profile in your CRM about this client. So sending a referral to them would be available to you through that user interface. And then As that gets delivered, you'll see it update right here in the string of communication. So as you send that referral out of your CRM, you can be monitoring it and seeing it update in the conversation. You also have the option to send the content of the referrals in the text box. So rather than using the integrated, you may have something that you're building that is a little slightly different than the referral that you would send out of your CRM. Maybe you're building something that's parts of a referral, or that is several different parts of several different referrals. Then you would use the text box. And to do that, you just select the content that you're going to be sending, and take content like this, copy it, and then you paste it into the box. And then, as you can see there, we count how many characters. So if you exceed 160, which is the basis for most text messages, however, some carriers allow us to send over to 160 up to 270. And we know who they are, so we'll split them accordingly if that's the case. If it's a 160 limit, then we're going to split it into 160 character text and send them sequentially. So when I'm ready with the content to send, we'll also remove extra line breaks, extra spaces. We'll send it in the most economical way to that client. And we're ready to send, we just click send. And then out goes all of that content. So AT&T allows up to 270, so these are in blocks of 270. And then I'm getting all those texts, and then they update as they're delivered. And there's a little bit of a latency between when the client actually receives the text and when it updates in the UI, just because we're getting notice from the carrier letting us know that that message was delivered. So that there's a slight delay, of course, between the actual text being received by the phone and then the carrier notifying us of when it's delivered. And then, and what's nice about that, guys, is being able to know delivered messages and when they were delivered exactly is really important and a critical part of the service. If you ever have a client that rings you up and says, gosh darn it, I was texting with you, you said you were going to send me a referral, I didn't get them, and now look, I missed the deadline. Well, what's your phone number? Let me have a look. You look up their number, and you go, actually, we've got from your carrier delivery receipt at approximately 7:31, 20:38 Eastern Standard. We got that delivery receipt. Are we certain we have the correct mobile number for you? See what I mean? So that it's not about whether or not that message got sent to them. It's about whether or not you have the right number for them. Totally different argument. Totally different conversation. So the onus is on the individual, not you. Very important. And a critical piece of the service. Now, when I'm done with the case, I would conclude it. And we've got a bunch of conclusion messages here, or sample conclusion messages. And when we copy from Word document, sometimes it doesn't understand the character. So when you're in your conversation mode and you select conclusion, well, then you can send that text that you want to have as being your conclusion. Thank you for contacting 211. You may dial, maybe I ask this first. If there's anything else, is there anything else I can help you with today? I fire that one off, and then the client says, no, thank you. And then when we get that back, client text, no, thank you. And then now we go to thank you for contacting 211. You may dial 211 from your phone or text your zip code 898-211 for more helpful information in the future. Here we go. So that's a live encounter in the software. And when you're done with it, you just close it out. And then that bookends it. And that makes it a completed case. So I close my case out. Now let's say that case is unresolved, right? Let's say my shift is ending and I'm open on this case. I'm having a conversation with them, but I can't send the referrals yet because they haven't answered my question. So in this situation, you can simply transfer the case to another agent. And that's going here in the inspector window and selecting the person to transfer to. Asterisk just means they're logged in. I see all the people I work with, you see the people. When I'm happy with the person I'm transferring it to, I click assign. And then I forfeit the text box, gone, so 2 canned phrases. And look here, now the responder is Cindy Lee Gitchell. Cindy Lee Gitchell. Okay. So now the responder is Cindy Lee Gitchell, and I have resolved the case that I was working in, and I can now go away or go home, right? Because I transferred the case. Didn't have to close it because it was unresolved, remember? When you transfer a case to another staff, they get a little ping telling them that they got to transfer. So it's super easy. And also, you'll work out a system. Hey, when we go home, we transfer out or assign away our cases. Another thing you can do, be aware of, is you can have concurrent cases. So you can be open on more than one case. So if I take this case and I assign this to myself, I'm going to be the responder on 2 cases. So you've got your primary, and you can hide this if you want. You've got your primary, and then you've got your background. This background will update with live text. But please be aware that you can't text with the background until you navigate to the background. So you must, if this person responds, then I can go view, and then that's going to take me to that phone number. Did I lose you guys?
No, we're still here. We're just having logistical difficulties here. We can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay. So yeah, to see a background case, you just click the view, and then that will show you that 646 number, and then you can text with the 646 number rather than the 831 number. So the 831 becomes the background, and the 646 is my foreground and my primary. So toggling between cases, being open on multiple cases, you can also isolate the cases you're working in, so you're not bothered by other cases in the queue. And then you work on your cases and resolve them. It's nice and tidy. And then as you close out those cases, resolve those cases, you just close them out. and they'll come out of the mine because they're no longer yours. And then you've got no cases in your queue. Why? Because you're looking at mine and I just closed them out. They're done. I resolved them. So going back to the All tab, there they are. And there they are as closed. If somebody texts back after you close the case, no problem. You just open that case up again. So, hi, one more question. So if this is a case where I need to have another conversation with him, then I just pop it right back over. Right? We're right back to ground zero, right? We're right back to asking them what they need this time. Now, alternatively, I can pass on a case. So let's say somebody texts back, and they text back, thank you. So they're not asking a question. They're just responding to my last text, letting them know that they can text back in the future if they need future help. And then I close the case. Alternatively, I can pass on that case. And then what I'm doing is I'm passing on the conversation. I'm saying this doesn't need a conversation because we don't need to open it up and have a new conversation because all they did was say thank you to my last text. The passing isn't about the little pass button isn't about passing between responders. It's about passing on the conversation. That's neat. Okay, let's pop over to the referrals. The referrals tab, you can put a single phone number in here or multiple phone numbers. If you put a single phone number in here, you need to put in the full mobile number. You can comma separate and add additional phone numbers. You can add a name at the time. And all you do to add a name is put them in arrows. But you don't have to do that. It can simply be just the phone number that you're going to be texting information to. So then in box number 2, you're going to put in your referrals, whatever referrals you're going to text to them. I'm just going to use the same content I used before. So here we go. We've got referrals, 660 characters of 160, same as we saw on the users tab during the conversation. But this time, we're on the phone with the person, and we're going to text them referrals based on our phone call. Or we just had a phone conversation with someone, and we've agreed to send them texts. Now, part of this, if you're integrated, which you are, you can send referrals straight out of your CRM to callers. That's absolutely wonderful, easy to do. If you're going to send them multiple phone numbers, content, or you're contacting that person for a different reason, maybe it's not to send referrals, maybe it's to send them information that's after the referral was sent, that's clarification information that you had a call with. Now you just want to text them some clarification information. Well, then you would pop into the referrals tab, put their mobile number in, and put that content, the clarification information in box number 2, and then click send. And that's it. And all that content in 2 goes to that phone number in 1. It validates the mobile number and then tells you that content was sent. So we're letting you know valid number, content sent. And then when you go over to the users tab, it doesn't update the queue the way Live Help does. It goes into the queue and the phone number goes into the queue, but it goes towards the back of the queue. And if you click on that phone number, you'll see the referrals that went to them. you'll also see what triggered those referrals. So there we go. This is an app referral. So we use the application to send content to this mobile number. And that's what you see prior to the content. SRRR or SRR referral. All of your integrated referrals will have SRR referral and then the content, and all of your hand entered using the referrals tab will begin with SRR referral and followed by the content. Now, if this person were to text you after they got the referrals, then we would update you. We would push that case to the top of the queue, and you could decide what to do with them. And a lot of times it's just clarification maybe on the referrals that you sent, or maybe to complain about the referral not having a workable number or a workable website, whatever. If people have issues with the referral, then they might have the inclination to text you about it. And if they do, we'll show you. So if I respond, hey, have a question, well then that take that case and it's going to push it to the top and it's going to tell me with an audio alert, visual alert, and then clearly see that this person is texted in again. And then if I look, I can go, oh, and it's related to that referral that we sent to them after a call that we had. So calls can become texts, and texts can become calls. If you ever have a situation where you need to convert a texter to a call, well, then you're just getting their permission to call their mobile number or another number if they give to you. If you're converting a or a call to a text conversation, admin, fully opt in, put your number in, select the zip code that they're going to be or they're texting from, and click fully opt in. And then that will put the client into the queue. But according to that zip code. So we'll go back over here to the Users tab. You can just see at the top of the queue will be your app or your opt-in that you just added. There it is. Okay, any questions, guys?
I'm getting unmuted now here, so.
Oh, get unmuted. Yes, get unmuted.
So if somebody texts from one zip code and then 2 weeks later they try texting again, is it automatically going to sync up with that original zip code that they posted? Or are they going to have to enter that zip code each and every time they contact via text?
No, they only have to enter their zip code once. And some people do enter their zip code each time they text with you, but other people don't. They know that they texted that once, and all they have to do is ask a question, and then that will generate a response from you. So once they opt in one time, they only have to do that technically one time.
Okay.
What you'll see is because we're going to push that to the top of your queue. So you'll see right away, because we're always going to show the opt-in zip code. And then you'll just see the most recent message is their question from today.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I have a question. I think I might have just missed this. How many canned phrases can we have?
As many as you need. Okay. As many as you need. So canned phrases can be as many as you need, and that's in fact why we developed this whole concept of grouping. Because as you can imagine, you have 100 canned phrases in one group, you're scrolling through 100 canned phrases. We don't want you to labor with that. We don't want you to struggle with having to find the canned phrase that you want to use, and it's all the way down at the bottom. So we offer we offer these organizational tools that let you group them according to issue. I mean, you could have groups of can that are just food resource related. And then rather than scrolling through 100, you're scrolling through 10. Now, if you want to edit the title, you just edit the title. If you want to change the order and have your introduction second, you can change the order of your groups. You know, right now we have it in the order of how a live help happens. It begins with an introduction, goes to in progress, and then it ends with a conclusion. This is just one example, though. You guys might decide to go in a totally different way with your canned phrases, and you're fully entitled to do that. And that's why we put up all of that sample content, so that you have an idea of what others have done. You may want to check with your colleagues, others in your state. Maybe you guys want to share your policies and your canned phrases and stuff, kind of to be a little bit uniform there. It's up to you. How you guys decide to manage that is entirely up to you. But there is no limit on how many you can have in a group. It just becomes unruly the more you have.
That answers my question. I have one more, and then I'm going to let these guys ask theirs. In the event of like a disaster like you guys are facing right now, is there a way for us to push out messages?
Yeah.
Like disaster response.
Right. So you guys always have the ability to go to the Reminders tab, click New, and send to people by zip code or all. So you can send to everybody who's ever texted you, hey, notice, alert from Esquina 211. We're aware of the whatever storm or the incident, and please contact us by texting your zip code or calling 211. So that what you can do is you can immediately reach out to everybody, letting them know, hey, we're here for you, which is wonderful. So just go to the Reminders tab, type your message, and if it's impacting a specific region, then just select the zip code that it's impacting. If it's everybody, then just all, and then type your content and select the date and time you want it to go out, and then click save, and then that will go out.
Will that happen only with the people that don't opt out, or that'll happen with everyone that's ever texted us?
No, that'll happen with everybody as long as they're not opted out.
Okay.
So if somebody opts out, you can't send them an alert.
Gotcha. Now, for the ones that don't opt out, will the system automatically send them information, or only if we tell it to?
Say that again. Sorry, I didn't hear that question.
Oh, I was asking, for the people that don't opt out, does the system automatically send them information, or only when we tell it to?
Only when you tell it to. There are no automated routines or things that happen that aren't tied to things that you specifically have done and created.
And that would be through the reminders, correct?
That's correct. The Reminders tab lets you send content to everybody who's texted you. That's right.
That's awesome. Okay.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions. Now, folks, I know that with some of the government-provided phones, they have a limit as to how many texts they can use. I know that with another number of them, 211 is a free call for them. It's not counted. But are the texts treated the same way, or are they counted by the government phones?
So text, actually, the truth about government-issued phones is most of those plans have unlimited text. Most of them.
Not all.
Most of them, not all, but most of them have actually limits on the voice minutes they have. So you got to flip that a little bit. It's not that they're able to call freely, and it's that they're able to text more readily and freely.
Okay.
Because if you've got unlimited text, but you only have so many minutes, then it would behoove you to text rather than call. So that's what gets presented most often with government phones is, I've got limited minutes, but I have unlimited text, so it's better for me to text with you.
Okay, I've got another question. When we're in an active chat with someone, rather than physically click the send button, can we hit enter? Or do we have to actually click that button?
No, you can just click enter, and then it does
Yay. Yay.
it. Yeah, so it's pretty
back.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just it's like the tab button. Anything that gets me there faster, I'm all for it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so I can select a canned phrase and I can enter and return, and then that will send that content out rather than clicking the send button.
I have one more question. Now you this will integrate with our iCarol database so that when we want to text a resource, we should be able to get to that resource as it, as it'll attach to this software.
Yes.
And I guess I might have missed on how to do that, but is there a way you can show us an example?
So start by doing this. Start by contacting your software provider and opening up a ticket with them and telling them that you want to use integrated referrals. And then that will get the ball rolling with them. After our call today, I will provide you with the relay code that you will use with that. It's the same thing that we talked about earlier. You just need to tell them in that ticket that the relay code for all of your integrated referrals is SRR referral. And then that will get the ball rolling.
And you work with other iCarol users?
Once that gets, we have pretty much an equal distribution of clients across all the CRMs, all the major ones. There's a fairly equal distribution. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think, well, one of the CRMs is holding all the chips, and that's not the case. There's a pretty equal distribution. So when you do go to them, and then when you open that ticket up, you give them that keyword, that relay code, and then you ask them, hey, I need my referrals integrated. And then you'll ask them, hey, and do you mind doing a little session with us just to show somebody here, once it's turned on, that it's turned on and how to use the feature. Because it shouldn't be different from what they've offered you in the past. It's just that if you haven't used that yet, or you've used it and maybe not very often or whatever, it's always good to get a little brush up. So, at that same time, maybe ask them to set that up for you and then also give you a little show and tell.
Okay.
Jonathan, I have another quick question. We're getting pretty involved in the opioid crisis going on, and I know that you guys offer an opioid piece of PreventionPays.
Yeah.
Is that
So
something you and I should have a conversation about at another time?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's after our session today, what I'll do is I will send you information about it. Is it Candace?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then I will send you Candace information about it, and then we'll kind of get the ball rolling on what information you need in order to participate in that program.
Okay. I saw a little glimpse of it yesterday, and I was like really excited about what you're doing.
Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah, it's you know, a drop in the bucket, but anything toward the positive at this point, because my gosh, I saw this documentary.
I was just going to ask that.
It blew my mind. I mean, it just blew my mind. We're in the midst of a major, it's bad. I mean, it's something like in Ohio, there's something like 30 overdoses a day, something like that, or more. It's insane. It's like, wow. There's people literally falling over in supermarkets and children hanging on to them and crying, "Mommy, wake up." It's just not right. So we have to get moving, and that project is something that kind of hopefully gets some people to resources, because you guys are the keepers of these great resources. Let's get them into the hands of the people who need them.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
No, but we'll probably have a bunch when we get started doing it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right?
I'm CCing Michael, and Michael is available as well to troubleshoot with you guys on anything. So please feel free to contact myself or Michael or support@PreventionPaysText.com, and one of us will tackle the problem.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Jonathan, I have a question off topic. This is, where are you in California? Where are you with the fires?